So Jackie, the Treasury, Safest Place to Work Awards finalist 2018.
Very cool. Yeah, we were absolutely stoked to be nominated. Delighted. Yeah, the organisation was really thrilled.
Yeah.
A nice bit of recognition for a couple of years of work with Safe365.
Can you just tell us a wee bit about the Treasury and the type of environment it is, the people in the environment, and possibly some of the health and safety risks that the organisation may face in terms of looking after your people and making sure they're safe at work?
Yeah, sure. The Treasury is the lead economic advisor for the government. We're located in one site at number 1 The Terrace here in Wellington, strictly office-based. We do have a corporate side that supplies support services to our sister agencies within the central government as well. But the people here are our knowledge base, the power behind the information that goes out to the government. Health and safety wise, as you'd imagine in our environment, being office-based, not as many risks that other agencies or industries may face. Our biggest stressor here at work is actually workplace stress. The wellbeing of our staff, facing enormous deadlines, under pressure from ministers, high turnaround, volume of information that's required. So yeah, we've got a real focus on wellbeing and stress in the workplace at the moment.
And is that something that's going to be a key focus for the Treasury going forward over the next couple of years, is the wellbeing of your workers, particularly because they're knowledge workers, aren't they?
Yes,
and as you mentioned, they're in a very stressful environment. They're providing leading financial and policy advice to government, and I can imagine that there's quite a few deadlines that are placed on your people, and there's probably quite a lot of pressure, I'd imagine, in terms of giving advice and producing budgets and a whole bunch of things that would put probably extra pressure on someone at particular times of the year. And do you find with your workers that they're working long hours, working into weekends and so forth?
Yes, there's definitely ebbs and flows in the workflow that comes into the Treasury. We've had a really significant change with the bringing in of the new government that places significant stress on staff, learning about new ministers, what the priorities for the government are going to be, the impacts on the budget for the nation. So those deadlines are really significant, and the accuracy of the information that our staff is required to provide is really important. And Treasury has particularly in the last 12 months, definitely had a new focus on the wellbeing of the staff. It's become apparent that generally in our office environment, the office-based environment, the risks to us in terms of slips, trips and falls is quite low, but that biggest stressor in the workplace is the workplace stress. A real focus on mental health and wellbeing at the Treasury now, and I'm really pleased to say that that's been led by our senior leaders who have committed to improving the wellbeing of staff at the Treasury and what that means.
So how important is leadership in terms of building that whole safety culture? I know that effectively safety culture in my mind is just part of your normal culture, your normal way of doing business, but how important is the executive lead on this?
Oh, for us it's been an absolute bonus to have our senior leaders commit to leadership in health and safety. They're walking the walk and talking the talk for their staff, and it's made a huge difference in terms of the culture in the workplace and how seriously health and safety is taken. And that does include the things like slips, trips and falls. Of course, we're always going to have that. But being able to talk openly about mental health in the workplace, overall well-being of an individual, it's been fantastic. So that senior leadership commitment has been tremendous. Yeah.
Cool. So if we look back over the last couple of years and the journey that you've been on, can you just describe to me that journey? Because I mean, this year you were a finalist in the Safest Place to Work Awards. Seriously cool. So it tells us at Safe365 that you are committed to your health and safety and well-being. You don't become a finalist without a real drive to improving your performance in the workplace. Tell us a wee bit about your journey, where you started from and where you are now.
So we started a couple of years ago with perhaps not the best understanding or culture in the workplace about health and safety. When the Health and Safety Act was reformed, Treasury made a commitment to move away from a very ad hoc relationship with health and safety to a more dedicated focus. And one of the things we were looking for was a tool or a way to be able to measure where we were at and where we were striving to be. So that is why we ended up with Safe365. It provided us with a fantastic tool to give us a great overview of where we were, where we wanted to be, and how we're tracking. So over the last couple of years, we've moved from a heavily paper-based, compliance-based, just making sure we're ticking the boxes in terms of health and safety, to a much more holistic view of it. That includes our staff, our contractors, the services we engage with here at the Treasury, so looking at our supply chain and how we manage our supply chain. And now we're in such a better place than we were a couple of years ago. We can talk about health and safety in the workplace. Teams have it as a lead item on their team agendas. There's dedicated information available to staff. Events and campaigns such as the Mental Health Awareness Week recently in October, instead of it being something that was just sort of done in the background and people
never
didn't talked about, people
Yeah.
didn't really see what was happening. It's definitely lifted. Reporting has improved tremendously, and our big win is our buy-in from our senior leaders and seeing them lead the organisation through the change.
So you mentioned before focusing over the next 12 months is now moving more and more into that wellness, well-being for the Treasury. What are some of the things that you're looking to do over the next 12 to 18 months?
So we've had a project run this year that involves our people and wellbeing team, looking at the services that the Treasury was already providing in terms of employee assistance programs, fitness programs, those things that the staff could benefit from that were already in place, reviewing those, seeing if they were still fit for purpose and what we could bring in to be able to enhance those services. So one of the big changes we've implemented is staff now have dedicated wellbeing sessions. We run wellbeing sessions for our people leaders, so they know how to have those conversations with their staff and their teams. And we have dedicated wellbeing sessions for individual staff members as well. That's been a significant change for us, enabling people to have conversations which perhaps may make them uncomfortable. Exploring the whole person instead of just that 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock
just breaking down the barriers,
yes,
making it more acceptable, more open, more transparent.
To be able to have those conversations that can highlight that someone might be, they still might be functioning very well, they may be producing the work, but behind the scenes there's actually a whole nother layer of issues going on that if dealt with promptly and with the appropriate support, you may find that that person actually flourishes instead of languishing.
Making it a safe environment where people can speak up
Absolutely.
and say something and feel that they can do it,
Yes.
and do it comfortably and for the benefit not just of their own employees and staff, but for themselves as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Breaking down those barriers, that safe place, no judgment. There are resources that are available that can assist. How can we support you through this difficult time? What does that look like? You know, everything from in terms of using special leave requirements right through to counselling services if required, not only for the employee but for their families as well.
Yeah.
And that's been a tremendous focus for the Treasury, a really refreshing thing to see in a workplace.
In terms of being a finalist in the Safest Place to Work Awards, what has that actually meant for the Treasury when you sit back and you look at it after all the hard work that you've put in? What does it mean for you personally and also for the Treasury?
Well, for me as a health and safety rep for the Treasury, it was just wonderful to have that recognition of a couple of years of quietly working away in the background, trying to get more traction with health and safety at work, and to have that recognised by Safe365, along with all the other finalists who were nominated, was absolutely fantastic. And for the Treasury itself, it's a really great indicator that we've made significant steps in a really great direction. Instead of just being compliance-based and ticking the boxes, we're actually putting in a significant effort to really make a difference to the employees who come into the Treasury and continue that hope that we have that it is a great place to work, and that includes our approach to health and safety. And another thing I would say also, when we engage with services, people come into the Treasury, it's been wonderful to be able to have that overview that this is how we approach health and safety with Safe365. What are you bringing into our supply chain? What does that look like? Does it match what we expect when we're using our Safe365 tool? And knowing that we're at a standard that's we have a certain level of comfort with, and we know we can still improve. We're a finalist this year. Maybe next year we'll do a little bit better. But overall, it's just been absolutely tremendous. And to be able to go to the awards and meet such a wide range of finalists as well was fantastic. Everything from us and the government sector right through to those tourism people from White Island, that was just fantastic to be able to have those conversations.
Jackie, it's been a pleasure talking to you this morning. Well done on being a finalist this year, 2018 Safest Place to Work finalist. Really, really cool. And I can just tell by the way that you're talking about how you see your health and safety and well-being that it's really critical to you and to the organisation. So congratulations, well done, and yes, next year.
Yes, fingers crossed, Mark. Yes, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Safe365, intelligent health and safety software for business.